Donut Bag is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Your data is your business. Protect it with ExpressVPN. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to the link listed in my Twitter profile. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Donut Bag. This episode, I welcome back Andrew Dzurko, and we just had him on last week. And we are talking about the Steelers and recapping the draft and just reviewing where they are right now. And it's funny that the talk about the Steelers right now is, oh my goodness, they have the worst offensive line. Oh my goodness, they're going to be horrible. Oh boy. It's just funny because, first of all, anything the quote-unquote experts say, they don't know what the heck they're talking about. Second of all of these guys that are on that offensive line, they hear these things. It's funny when, you know, you interview an athlete and they talk about things that people said about them. It's like, oh, we just play one game to him. They say the usual cliches. But they take that stuff to heart. So they're hearing all this stuff that people are saying about them, and I think they'll be okay. So we'll see. Anyway, here is my talk with Andrew Dzurko about the Steelers. Donut Bag starts right now. When we talked about the draft, I think we're kind of have similar approaches. Is you don't want to do too much draft prep because you're just looking into a bunch of people that your team isn't going to get. But now that your team got them, you could actually look into them. So what did you think of this draft?
Overall, and I really don't like draft grades because I think they're premature just based on how they're like structured, because you never know when a 8th round pick is going to become, I don't know, the next Antonio Brown or something, because that's about where the Steelers drafted him, maybe the 7th or something. I looked at the Steelers draft, and I looked at this Steelers draft as I look at most of them, and I nod my head. I'm not super stoked on a ton of these people, but I'm not upset really about any of these people. I think Najee Harris, I gave the highest grade to, because I knew they were going to take Najee if he was there. And he was there. Like, he was the player linked to the Steelers. Everybody else, I think I just went ahead and gave, like, the ones I did give grades to, I think I gave a B and C towards. And, like, that's not bad. That's not failing. That's like, okay, you're average. You have potential. I see why they drafted you there. But I'm not excited about you. So from your tight end out of Penn State, the Pat whatever guy, the Pat F guy,
Freiermuth.
I like his athleticism. I think he has the potential to be a better Heath Miller if he can learn how to block. But I'm not excited about him. That wasn't a high position of need for me. Like, I wasn't super stoked. They got a lineman in the 3rd round, finally. They took Dan Moore in the next round, or the next pick. I gave that a C+. He's a decent O-line prospect. Yeah. I'm not stoked on any of these guys. Maybe Quincy Roche out of Temple is like the one I'm most stoked about. They got him so late, and he was an all-ACC player, defensive player of the year. So I think he could find a way to be like a positional player in the first year, but it's also going to depend on how he adjusts to the NFL. So I had very mixed feelings about this, although, and I'll wait for your opinions on this, but I am in love with the punter we took.
Everyone is.
Oh my God.
The dude is a folk hero already.
that he has a cannon for a leg, and he's accurate, and he's not afraid of contact. Oh, he is an ideal Steelers punter. Granted, I could bet money he's going to get hurt during his career once or twice, because he's gonna just go make a tackle and like weirdly throw out his shoulder or something. But I love that pick. I know I said in previous episodes, actually, if you listen to the last episode, that I don't understand why teams draft punters and kickers, even in the late rounds, save them for the undrafted free agents. That one I am glad the Steelers spent a pick on. So, Joe, how do you feel specifically about any of these picks?
I was in love with Najee Harris, and I'm so happy they got him. I'm so happy he landed, and I think they're really happy too. I think that's who they really, really wanted. So,
Agreed.
They wanted him. I wanted him. I think he's going to instantly help. And, these people that say, well, you don't take a running back in the first round. Oh, shut up. Just there's different ways of handling a team. And yeah, you need a good line, but if you have a really good running back, it helps. And they did not have anything close to a good running back. I'm sorry. Benny Snell sucks. Kalen Ballage they got. Ugh.
I don't hate on Benny Snell that much, but
I think I think he's just average at best. But Najee Harris,
Joe, let's just hope they cut Jalen Samuels.
Oh, please. Well, for Jacob's sake, yes. But yeah. I mean, I've heard Najee Harris be compared to Le'Veon Bell, and I think that's awesome. And I'm just so excited. If they did not get Najee Harris, if they got another running back in the first, like Travis Etienne or one of those other running backs, like in later on, I would not have been as happy. But I think Najee Harris was like on his own level, far above all the other running backs. So I'm so happy they got him. They're happy they got him. I think that's exactly who they wanted. Then after that, they desperately needed a center. Kind of weird that they waited to the third round.
That's why I gave that pick a C-. Like, I don't know that I love that second round pick of the tight end out of the Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State. Like, I don't know that I love that pick.
We'll see. I mean, it takes tight ends a while to be okay when they get to the NFL. And he's not going to do much this year. It's like, what are they going to do? It's like, obviously they got him because he could block. Okay, we'll see. I mean, that's the problem with Eric Ebron is he can't block at all. So that there's that limitation there. But how are you going to have this? You have all these wide receivers. You just got your running back. Obviously, he's going to play all the time. Now you have two tight ends. What are you going to do? Like, yes, I know you want to run, but how's this going to work? I don't know. There's only so many players that can play. So how this goes, I don't know. And then, yeah, okay, they get their center. I hope that works out. Dan Moore Jr.
I like him as a prospect. I don't necessarily know that he's going to be day one starter. Although, no offense, Finney doesn't give me a lot of confidence, so there is a chance.
Well, we need to talk about the offensive line in general. My thing is, I mean, I've heard so much, not just this week, but basically ever for the past almost 6 months, that the Steelers' offensive line is so horrible. And I'm tired of it. I'm telling you, it's going to be better than last year.
I agree. As long as they stay healthy, I agree.
I have no problem with Zach Banner and Chooks. Okay, maybe Chooks is not the greatest, but still, I think he'll be okay. I think the Castro last year either was hurt.
Yes, he was.
He was definitely hurt, which really messed him up. And I think he was just mentally messed up from all the COVID stuff. I mean, that's something that doesn't get talked about enough, is such a toll that gets placed on these these players, they're basically told you're never allowed to go anywhere. And we got to shove a Q-tip up to your brain every single day and test you. And I mean,
it's physically draining.
It is.
It's psychologically draining because
exactly.
You feel like you're walking. You feel like, not that it's not a camp every day, but it feels like you're walking into like a weird concentration camp type thing.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that, I don't think that got, enough consideration. So I think the Castro is going to be better. The center thing is concerning. I mean, you draft somebody, especially in the third round, who knows when he's going to be ready. I mean, even Dotson, who was was amazing, he didn't play till the middle of the season. And then,
but you do draft a guy. I mean, I don't know what their pick was because I didn't write it down. But that was a fairly early round draft pick, and they got a decent lineman. I feel like this is a deep lineman, like interior lineman class.
Yeah,
in a class where all your quarterbacks, your wide receivers, and your linebackers are going to be run on. So, and your offensive tackles. So, like, you could get interior linemen and not worry about it, but you just have to worry about who's going to back up Banner and Chokes or Okafor. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. But I think the line is going to be better. I think they're going to emphasize the run more. And I'm sorry, I just saw that Al Villanueva got just signed with the Ravens, which I think is hilarious. I don't think he was very good anymore. So
he's going to be there. If they put him at left tackle, TJ Watt is going to destroy him.
Yes.
If they put him at right, if they put him at right tackle, he might be able to handle Alex Smith on plays, and he might be able to run block. But if they put him at left tackle, good freaking. No offense, I love Alejandro Villanueva as a player, and I respect what he did for this country. Like Army Ranger, got it. I understand the narrative, but. No offense, TJ Watt will kick your ass on the left side of the field. So do not be on that side of the field.
Yeah. So that's why I think this offensive line is going to be better. And the way people trash it, I'm sorry. I know athletes see what people say about them, and everyone is trashing the offensive line, calling the Steelers offensive line one of the worst in the league. That's why a lot of the draft experts gave horrible grades to the Steelers because they said, well, you didn't address the offensive line enough. You know what? I'm going to trust Colbert and Tomlin and those scouts and stuff. I think they'll be fine. I agree that Quincy Roche, I think that's going to be a steal. I think he could have gone a lot earlier. So that was a steal. And I get the punter thing because it's hard to find. It's like, oh, well, just get a punter in, free agency or something like that, or undrafted free agent. The thing about that is anytime you ask a punter to come here, they don't want to come for some reason. It's like really hard to get a punter. So it's cool to draft one. I hope it works out. I think he has the potential to be a folk hero. So very interesting.
If he's as good as they say he is, like as far as his accuracy, I mean, I've watched him just boot things. Like I'm in the back of my own end zone. I'm just gonna boot this as far as I can. Like I've seen him boot things. So I'm not sad with that pick that late. The one guy that I thought was a steal was Quincy. Is it Quincy? Quincy Roche out of Roche. Yeah, it's probably Roche. He's out of Miami now, but he played for Temple for a number of years.
Right.
So, and he was an all ACC player, and he just did his thing. And I wrote down like what he struggles with, and like he's a bit injury prone. He doesn't have He doesn't have elite athleticism. He struggles with a bit of mobility in his lower body, but like to get a former all defensive player like from a decent division like the ACC. I mean, the ACC is not the SEC, but that was a steal of the draft for me. Like we got him what 7th round, something like that.
Like that was yeah.
Deep. I even like Buddy as deep as we got him.
Yeah, Buddy Johnson. Another, so I guess they want Buddy. This is Buddy Johnson, this inside linebacker from Texas A&M. I guess they want him to eventually take over for Vince Williams and Spillane. So okay, cool.
I think Buddy is definitely more athletic than either of those two. He's got to learn. He's got to learn to read better. He's got to learn to like see what they see as far as NFL linebackers go, because it's a different speed. And I've said that before. Like it's faster. You were playing against the best athletes like from high school, like the best high school athletes. Now you're playing from the best college American athletes in the world in the NFL. Like they're just the best of the best. Like you can't beat them. You just have to figure out how you can best read them to best defend them. So, yeah. I don't have anything on Trey Norwood. I think he's a decent value. If he makes the team, he either makes it as a blitzing slot corner or just some guy on special teams.
Well, that's the question: is what do they do at slot corner now? Because they really didn't.
They really didn't until the undrafted free agents. They drafted so many corners, or they undrafted so many corners.
Right. Yeah. So it's basically just throw a bunch of things at the wall and see what sticks, kind of thing.
Yeah, they drafted. What did they say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they drafted Shakur Brown out of Michigan State, who I think got like really hurt for some reason, like for 2 years in a row.
Okay.
And so he was like a top round talent. Before, like a first or second rounder, and he just got hurt 2 years in a row. He had played. I don't think he's played since 2017. So he could be an interesting prospect if he can prove his injuries are behind him. Don't know much about the Kalen Bundage linebacker out of Oklahoma State. I don't know if you know anything about him, Joe.
Really, the only undrafted free agent I know about is the Gilbert guy, because he is a son of Sean Gilbert.
Mark Gilbert at the corner at a Duke?
Yeah.
What do you know about him?
Sean Gilbert is his dad, and Sean Gilbert was I believe he went to University of Pittsburgh, and he also played in the NFL. So the Steelers like those kids or relatives of NFL players.
Yeah, that they do. They picked up some wide receiver out of Hawaii who I've actually heard, like, I do not have high hopes for. I'm not sure why they took him so high. The one that interests me is Isaiah McCoy, out of the wide receiver out of Kent State. His numbers are very interesting. That he looks like he could be good. They took 2 more safeties, Devontae Stinner out of Florida and Lamont Wade out of Penn State. Also, Lamar Watson, linebacker out of Kentucky. Who knows if any of these guys are going to make the practice squad, but
some of them do. Some of the there's always some undrafted people that make the team. So
all right, so Joe, I want 2 things from you then, real quick. Who do you want to make if you could have one position, not a player, position make the roster, what position would you want to make the roster and play day one? We got cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver. We basically got whatever you like.
Who, me? That if I was on the team?
If you were on the team and you were like wowed by a player, and you wanted to see one position, not player, make the roster, what position would you want to see filled?
I think cornerback still is an issue.
Okay, so we got two of those. So you either got Shakur Burke out of Michigan State or Mark Gilbert out of Duke. So that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I think this late, I would love to see either a corner or linebacker, and those are just the top two I have on my list. So that's Shakur Brown again, and Calvin Bundage or Bundage. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Out of Oklahoma State. That would
Yeah. And then there's the issue with Terrell Edmonds that they didn't get his fifth year option. So basically, unless there's some deal reached, this is going to be his last year.
So they can still reach a deal with him, though.
They could. I mean, and maybe they will, because if they did get that fifth year option, I think he would have made a little over $6 million. And for whatever reason, they chose not to. I think.
What's he making now? I mean, is he still in his rookie contract?
He is still, yeah.
So yeah, I understand why they're not paying the extra $2 million. Their cap space situation is very much in jeopardy. So I understand preserving that money.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, that's another thing that is a big debate online is Terrell Edmonds any good? And
I was going to say, can we come to a consensus on that? Because I think I saw tremendous improvement over the last year, over the 2020 season in Terrell Edmonds' play specifically. He was not a liability in coverage as much as he had been, and he was a much better tackler, I thought. I don't know what your thoughts were.
I agree. He played. I think he's just solid. He's serviceable. He's just not a star. He doesn't, he's not going to do something spectacular, but he'll do what he's supposed to do. It's not like he's a weakness on the defense. He's just he does his job. And to me, that's fine. Yeah, it would have been nice if, you want some more out of a first round player. And I think that's the main problem people have with him, is that he was taken in the first round. But to me, he's just there. He's solid. And that's fine. You can't all be all-stars.
And the Steelers won Super Bowls with just fine. I mean,
yeah.
No offense to Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark had his abilities. Like, he was a thumper. Like, he would knock your head off if he got the chance, back when you could still do that. And Ryan Clark was a solid corner. He wasn't going to be an all-star every time because he was playing next to Troy Polamalu. And Troy Polamalu just did his thing. So that's a very similar situation to what we have right now with Terrell Edmonds and Minkah Fitzpatrick, I feel. So I'm going to be if Terrell has a great year and wants to go look for money, I will totally understand it, because you know what? We had our shot and we didn't take it. And that's totally fair to him. But if he has a bad year and he comes back and then he has a great year next to Minkah Fitzpatrick, I won't complain. I'm not 1 year short-sighted. Like, I understand that this is a long game we're playing here. So, yeah, I'm happy with the Steelers draft. I don't know that I'm in love as much as everybody is with Najee Harris, but I think he is a solid back, and I'm very excited to see what he's going to do. The minute the punter truck sticks somebody, though, I will be all over every social media that I'm still on, because I will just be totally in love with that person, because I guarantee you there's going to be a play where he thinks he has it and he's going to truck stick the crap out of somebody.
I'm so excited. Every time he punts, I'm just going to be praying for a fake punt. Like, please do not actually kick the ball. Take it.
Oh, well, no, he kicks it he can kick it like 60, 70 yards. That's the crazy ass thing. It's just he kicks it with accuracy sometimes, and he just kicks it out of bounds.
Okay.
That's what's weird about him. So like he can kick with precision, but also like he's huge and has a massive leg and can just kick like deep ass 60 like balls that just go out of bounds. So it's very weird. So sometimes he has like a stray kick or two and he like feels the need to adjust that. And so he will get out of coverage packages. Like he won't be the guy back to save the touchdown. So he has had touchdown scored on him before. But yeah, I like, all right. All right. I need to go up either. All right. I need to either go C plus or D on this tight end guy. Do you think he's a C plus? Do you think he's like a B? I don't know. I don't know. Like
here's the way I see it. Here's the way I see it. Obviously, the whole goal of this offseason has been improve the running game. So you improve the running game by getting a better running back and then getting offensive linemen and that could do better at run blocking. But you also do that by getting a tight end that could block. It's going to help. Even if he just blocks, he's going to help with the running game. So I'm happy with the pick. I mean, a blocking tight end nowadays is like a dinosaur. It's very rare. Most tight ends are like Eric Ebron that just catch only. They don't bother with blocking. And that doesn't fly with the Steelers. If you're a Steelers tight end, you got to block. I mean, even last year, I think they tried to tell Ebron, hey, you should block more. And he's like, I don't think so. So
pretty sure that's why Vance McDonald retired.
But basically Vance McDonald was one of those blocking tight ends, but they are rare. So they needed someone like that. And so even if he's there just to be basically an extra blocker to help with the running game, hey, go for it. I mean, my goodness, last year, those last, 5 or 6 weeks of the season, it was just painful watching them try to run for whatever reason. It was just horrible. Something needed to be done. You just cannot have a running game that bad. So they needed to do something. Well,
and the offensive coordinator has changed, and I'd be dismissed by Jacob if I haven't brought this up. What do you think about Matt Canada? Do you think he's the answer? We had Randy Fichtner last year for a large portion of it.
The question about Matt Canada is, how are they going to let him do what he wants to do? Like, from what I understand, his offense is a lot of, like motion and zone blocking and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. That's just not totally the Steeler way. That, how are they going to mix his offense with what the Steelers usually do and what the Steelers like to do? And then you throw in the factor of Ben. How is that all going to work with what Ben wants to do? Because Ben could just say, I don't like this, I'm just going to do what I want. So there's a lot of questions about that, but it kind of seems like with the people that they did draft, that they are going to go toward something more that basically they got the kind of players that Matt Canada wants. So we'll see how this all works out. It's, it could be awesome. It could be a perfect marriage. It could be a disaster. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people feel like this after the Steelers draft. Like, what if this happens? It could be really great, but what if this happens? It could be really terrible. So, yeah. I think Najee Harris could find really great success in his own scheme. I think he has the patient footwork and like just eyes and vision and that burst to get you 10, 12. I don't think he has the burst to get you like the breakaway runs, but I mean, I've been saying that for years. So, and I think what is his name? Pat Fairmouth.
Firemouth.
I'm gonna be bad at pronouncing your name the entire time if you're listening to this podcast. My last name is spelled Dzurko. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So I think if he develops as a weapon, especially like as a safety blanket for Ben, like if Juju and Mapletron and James Washington and Deontay Johnson can't get open, like if he just can do a little 6-yard dump over, he's athletic enough to make the rest of the play. Like I get why they drafted him, and I hope that's what he turns into. But yeah, I'm waiting to see what comes out of training camp before I'm like I'll make a prediction that I think this is an average draft class. I think probably out of the top, probably maybe 4. It could be anywhere from 4 out of 4 to 0 out of 4 turn out to be like actual offensive contributors or like actual contributors just in general. But I could also see like some guys really deep, like Quincy Roche just contributing first year. Trey Norwood being on special teams. There's a couple undrafted free agents I could see. It's just so hard to call a Steelers draft, especially like this close after, because they just draft in such an unconventional way compared to the rest of the league, where they're just trading up like all the time.
It's
and
the
Steelers
Steelers.
Never do that.
It's the Steelers. They have their way of thinking. They have their way of doing things, and that's that. But yeah,
I've been lucky enough to see 2 Super Bowls won in my life, and they've won 6 total. I am happy.
I'm happy, and yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the future if they're going to be bad or something. It's like we're very lucky as Steelers fans to be with a team. I saw a Browns fan make fun of this draft. Like, oh, you drafted a punter. It's like, really, Browns? You want to talk about your drafts?
I was going to say, that's really the fight you want to start right now?
Right. You want to talk about our 7th round draft pick when you drafted how many quarterbacks in the first round? So, yeah, I think the first 3 picks will contribute this year. After that, I don't think we're going to see much from Dan Moore. Buddy Johnson, I could see on the I could see him being a special teams person mostly in his first year. This Isaiah Loudermilk, I don't know what's going on with him. I think that was a bit of a questionable pick. Quincy Roche, I could also see him on special teams. Same with Trey Norwood, and my goodness, if Pressley Harvin makes his team, that would be amazing. So. And that's and really that's if you get contributions from 3 players from your draft in the first year, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I definitely think the punter makes it.
I don't know about that. They've drafted punters before and it hasn't worked out, so we'll see. I mean, it's.
I think the punter kid works out. The punter kid is basically like my second favorite pick in the draft. I like Quincy Roche, and I think he will make it. Trey Norwood does not do anything for me. Buddy has a shot. Dan Moore, I'm very, very vanilla on. And the rest of the picks, yeah, I agree with you. I think the top 3, especially Najee, starts day 1. I don't even really think there's a question. I don't see Pat, and I'm not going to pronounce his name again. Pat F. I don't see him not at least getting reps on day 1. Like, he may not start, and they may put, I don't even know who the backup tight end behind.
There really wouldn't be one. They would just run Ebron. Ebron would be the only tight end in that scenario.
Yeah, I don't even know who they run behind Ebron. I feel like there'll be packages for him in the first week, just to see what he can do. Just like what they did with like Mapletron.
Yeah.
And the lineman, the guy at lineman, I forgot to write down names.
Kendrick Green was the center they drafted.
Kendrick Green. I loved what I watched out of him. I think he has the potential to start day one, especially over Kenny. Like,
it's a little scary though, getting a rookie center. I mean,
I would rather have a healthy rookie center than a journey offensive lineman like that's been hurt a bunch of times, because he has been.
I'm gonna say that Kendrick Green is not going to start right away. It's, at least at first, it's going to be BJ Finney. And I'm also going to say BJ Finney is not as bad as people say. I think it's one of those situations where when you go to another team, it doesn't work out. But it did work when he was with the Steelers. So hopefully coming back to where he played well will do well for him. But I don't think it's the disaster that people say. I've heard it say, well, he was horrible in Seattle, and it was horrible with Cincinnati. Wait. It was like, okay.
He was horrible. Wait, where? Seattle and Cincinnati? Those are the two worst offensive lines in football. So he had no help.
Yeah. And also, I think he was very affected by COVID. I think he couldn't find a place to work out or something like that. So it was just bad situations. And I think it happens a lot in the NFL where you get a free agent, you go to a new team, and it just does not work out for whatever reason. So I think this is the case here. I think he's going to be better than people say. People, sound like, oh my God, if BJ Finney is your center, this is the worst thing ever. It's like, no, I think he'll be okay. And at least, maybe Kendrick Green will start, maybe some point in the season, toward like the first half of the season, something like that. But it wouldn't be the end of the world if BJ Finney was in there at first.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think.
BJ Finney wasn't bad when he was with the Steelers as a backup. I mean, he filled in pretty well most of the time. It was just it's the O-line around him that makes him good or bad. And so hopefully we have a strong enough O-line around Finney to make him be successful. And if somebody gets hurt, the guy we drafted can definitely fill either any of the interior positions at guard or center. So
I'm telling you what, I think when you hear over and over again that people say, oh my God, this is the worst offensive line in football. Oh, these guys suck. Wow, the Steelers offensive line sucks.
I was going to say, are we talking about the Eagles when we say the worst offensive line in football?
Seriously. It's just, you hear that and you take it to heart and say, you know what? Okay, fine. You want to call me the worst? I'll show you. Especially, Zach Banner is very active on social media. I don't know about the other guys, but if you keep hearing people trash you, you're going to take that personally.
Zach Banner is going to take that to a war on the field.
And he has a lot.
Zach Banner, I think Zach Banner is going to come in with a massive chip on his shoulder and a massive axe to grind. You people gave me crap for getting my knee blown out, which was none of his fault, and then told me I wasn't good enough again. I'm gonna lay you to slaughter right now.
And this
is I can see Zach Banner being like a top 10 offensive lineman this year.
Possibly. I mean, this is his chance. He's bounced around from a few teams. This is not, he's not some young guy. This was his chance was last year, and his knee blew out, and he's going to have to prove himself all over again. And now this, people saying he sucks. Yeah, he has a huge chip on his shoulder, and I think he's going to use that big time as motivation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we still have DeCastro, who is still my personal favorite offensive lineman on the Steelers.
If he's healthy and his mind is right, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's still one of the best pulling guards in football. If you watch his pulls, they're just textbook. So then you got your weakness at center because obviously Pouncey left. So you got Finney. he's not terrible. He's not great. We'll see how he pans out. Who do you got next to him? His
There's
Chooks is on the
Dotson.
outside. Dotson. Yeah, that's right.
I think Dotson's going to be much better.
And he has another year of experience under his belt. I think he's going to be better. And then you got Chooks on the outside, who, again, has another year of experience. I think he's going to play well.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're not all wrong and don't get to see our quarterback get destroyed every week. So
Right. And if the running game does work out and you have Ben just handing it off a bunch, it's going to preserve him. I also think it's going to be huge that this time last year, he was still recovering from major elbow surgery. He basically did nothing all last offseason because of the surgery. So he has a full offseason this time. Hopefully he'll be in better shape. Hopefully I really think that had something to do with why he didn't do so well at the end of last season.
Well, so hopefully he has an entire offseason to just get to know his wide receiver core. Yeah. Figure out exactly who. This is who I can throw to in this position. If the defense is covering this way, this is who I throw to. Like, just learn that stuff because you learn those body positions with receivers. Oh, if a receiver's on my inside, I need to throw it this way so that somebody can go up and get it at this point. So it's such a cerebral game, and for all the bad I've said about Tom Brady on podcasts we've done in the past, I will give Tom Brady this: he is a very cerebral quarterback, and he does know how to position balls appropriately. He doesn't have a great arm, but he knows how to throw a precise pass. So I will openly give him that, and I just complimented Tom Brady, so now I need to go throw up.
Yeah, go wash your mouth out with a mouthwash or something like that. But I mean, I mean, all credits it, what he did last year and what he's done all his freaking career.
Good for you. Former offensive coordinator,
Bruce Arians.
Thank you. Former offensive coordinator Bruce Arians. Kudos to you for finally getting your Super Bowl. That was the only reason I was ever rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, not so much.
Yeah. I mean, quarterbacks drafted in the 6th round are not supposed to be that good. Quarterbacks that are 40, whatever years old he is, aren't supposed to be that good. Quarterbacks that go to a new team, a completely new team, aren't supposed to be that good. I mean, he is the exception to every rule. So you gotta, I guess I'll give him credit for that.
All right. So before I let you go, Joe, are there any other of the picks in the draft that you were like super surprised by, or you're like excited to see? Because I got one that I'm very excited to see.
I mean, it's hard to get excited about offensive linemen, but I don't know.
I meant for any other team.
Oh, any other team? Oh,
like who are you excited to see outside of like the top picks? Like, obviously, don't tell me about the top picks. Don't tell me about Trevor Lawrence.
I was really excited that the Bears got Justin Fields.
You stole mine.
Yeah, that was really cool. I'm really high on Justin Fields, and I think that was a great move by the Bears to get him. That'll not totally make up for missing out on Pat Mahomes, but still, it's a great move, and I think he's going to do very well. All right,
Joe, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Awesome. Anytime. Too bad Jacob couldn't be here, but we'll have to get together again sometime.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can get a little week to week when they start back up again.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, sir.
Hey, you take care.
Thanks. Yeah, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.